Oh, buddy. We back. We haven't done this in a minute, but we back. You are listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything post-game show powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, in their first preseason game, the Washington Commanders fell to the New York Jets 20-17. Hey, I'm here with the fellas. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Ray and George. The homie Glenn should be jumping on a little later. He's running a little late. And we might later on have a Commanders reporter who is live on site. What's going on, fellas?
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that more than I expected to. I'll be honest, I wanted to see another series out of Daniels. I wanted to see 2 series out of him. But we got to see enough that was pretty good that I'm excited about him. I'm excited about a lot of our rookies. That for me is the story, is that our rookies played well. Our draftees played well. The only downside being that Brandon Coleman didn't play, and I really wanted to see him against this front.
Yeah, I did too. Ray, what's going on, bro?
Dude, Jaden Daniels pulled up with the Doug Williams jersey on. You talking about setting the tone for your team? I think that he hit it on the head perfectly. Doug Williams is in attendance, of course. He's still part of this organization. And then Senate, does he not look like Cooley 2.0? Wole, I text you that right away. Like, dude, if I would have closed my eyes and then open them and see Chris Cooley on the field, I wouldn't think I missed a beat because he looks just that much like him. I mean, that's so comparable. It's crazy. So shout out to my homie DH too, or the homie DH. He looked real good. All of what he talked about, Mariota not playing, Diami having a big game, everything that he mentioned this past week on the Urban Sports Scene looked like it came to fruition. Unfortunately, the Commanders didn't get the win, and the kicking game kind of affected that, and that was a concern too. So, Urban Sports Scene looking real good these days, bro.
I mean, that was pretty obvious. The kicking game was going to be trash. Hey, what's up, Steve, man? Was so nice watching. Like you said, it was so nice watching the team play like that. I agree. I felt like they were professional. And Ray said, and Steve said, right, Ray's statement. You know what I mean?
Different energy though. That's what everybody was noting. Like, it just looks like a different feel out there. Unfortunately, Ron Rivera couldn't bring this type of energy out of the team last year. So shout out to Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn looks like a player's coach. We knew that anyway. But
yeah, he looks he's for the cause, right?
He looks the part. He does. He does. He does look like he looks like he's Tress Way getting tackles out here, solo tackles.
Yes, Tress still one of the best in the game. Who cares? I thought it was funny to hear London Fletcher say he looked a little weird out there in 10 with number 10 on, but the jersey number hasn't changed, hasn't affected him. He's still one of the best out there.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you what, that's gonna be a tough film review for special teams. Missed tackles on that one that could have led to a big play.
Yeah.
A couple of penalties on some of the special teams returns, and of course the kicker doinking a kick. You know,
it is.
If you're looking for a big negative, that's it.
But we'll get to all that. Let's save all that.
That's why I'm not saying too much.
Yeah, so we'll say, hey, before we get into it, we're going to talk about subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. I like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page. Hey, man. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel as well. If you watch this on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button. We are also streaming this on our Urban Sports Scene X handle, so if you can watch that there as well. You can watch this post-game show there as well if you don't feel like being on YouTube or whatnot. All right, man, let's get right into it, man. First, I'm gonna start with you, George. After watching this game, are you feeling a little better about this team?
I think I feel about the same. I mean, look, we didn't see enough of the starters that I would have liked on offense. But you saw a lot of guys that are either going to be starters or near starters making good plays. And I will say, some of these backup linemen that we were really worried about, they didn't do too bad. I mean, there were some tough moments, sure. But I thought Trent Scott played well. Cosme, he was not a backup guy, but he played well. I thought Chris Paul played well because I think he was in at tackle for a little bit, and he did a good job. So I don't feel I didn't expect to come out of this game feeling better or worse about this team, but there were a lot of things to like, and I think there's positives to take forward here.
What about you, Ray?
One thing stood out to me that makes me feel better, and that's something that Cliff Kingsbury said during the week. I'm actually trying to pull up the quote now. Well, here it is. He said on Jahan Dotson, he has tremendous ball skills. He's played in a couple different systems since he's gotten into the league, and I think once he gets comfortable with us, whether it's inside or outside, I think you're going to see him just really take off. And I believe that's why Jahan Dotson played later into the game than most offensive starters. And for me, that's a coach keeping his word to the fans and making sure that one of his best offensive weapons is actually grasping his system.
Oh, that's what you think? That's what's up.
Yeah, I do because honestly,
I'm hoping that. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so.
We talked about during the week how this is the most important thing for us to see in the offseason. You playing against another team in pads, and the fact that you're letting one of your best players get reps is important. Diami played a long time. Even some guys on the defensive side of the ball played longer. So I think this coaching staff set the tone for the preseason that you guys are going to have to earn it. You guys are going to have to learn because we want to get started rolling when the regular season kicks off. You don't want to see a team like last year's group get marched down on the field on opening kickoffs. You don't want to see that. You want to see a team that sets a tone, and I think Dan Quinn, his coaching staff, including Kingsbury, who talked about Jahan Dotson, he set that tone today, even though it's the first preseason game, and it's the Jets. We know the Jets are going to be good defensively. So this is a pretty good measuring stick. So Robert Saleh is a good coach, a good defensive coach, and I'm glad that Jaden Daniels looked good against a good defensive group to start out his career. I think it's dope.
Yeah,
I feel better, and I'm not a competitor.
This is a Glenn. Said the players play fast and look prepared.
I agree with that.
And we'll get let's get you talked about, actually let's fast forward, to be honest with you. That was a question I kind of wanted to talk about later on, but just you mentioned Jahan Dotson. Let's talk about it. You're saying that you're cool with him playing later on in the second, playing most of the first half, because he played most of the first half, and usually your starters don't, like your receivers don't play that long. Your starting receivers don't play that long in a half. But you're saying like he's trying to, get him situated in the offense. And that's cool. That makes a lot of sense. But a lot of fans are now thinking like, is Jahan's, not that he going to get cut or nothing like that. I think that's ridiculous. But if like, is Jahan's spot being the number two wide receiver in jeopardy? Because you do see, because you're in camp, like Diami's having a good camp. And he showcased another big play in this game with the Jets. Do you feel like there's competition with that? His slot of being the number two wide receiver, because he can easily be moving to the slot than to be just a traditional slot receiver. So do you think his position as number two is still locked, or is it in doubt? I'll start with you, Ray.
I'm gonna give you a short and sweet answer. We've discussed this, George. You're well aware. A four-win team, everybody's spot is available.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm cool with competition.
Yeah. What about you, George? What do you think?
I agree with Ray, and I would just I want to add a couple things. First, other than Terry, as like Ray says, the wide receiving spots are wide open because look at what happened last year. Yep. Secondly, Ray said something about the setting the tone and the culture. And I want to go back to that because I love the way Dan Quinn, I love the way this coaching staff coached this game today because, yes, it was a preseason game, and they tried a lot of things which you're supposed to. They were also coaching to win. They looked like they were going to go for it on 4th and short near the goal line, and then when the virtual stick finally figured out that it was a first and goal, they didn't have to, and they punched it in, and that was great. But they were coaching to win. Look at what Dan Quinn was doing at the end of the game, trying to get us the ball back one more time, even though it was going to be unlikely and all this. I love the way we used the receivers today, and I like the fact that Dotson played a long time because he needs to play a long time. And I also like the fact just the way the coaches approached the game today, I thought is exactly the right thing. And I think it is going to start to set a tone and build a culture here, which is something that we've seen other coaches fail to do time and time again. So I'm with Ray on all that. I think those are very good points.
I kind of think like in anything, I feel like I agree with Ray. I agree with you. I think that this coaching staff is coming here with a clear slate, like a clean slate in terms of their perception of these players. There's no bias other than guys they probably brought in. There's really no bias to anybody who played with the old regime, right? So they're coming in here saying, all right, you got to prove yourself. You gotta show You got to show us something. And I do think that, what Diami has done in camp and whatever Jahan's doing in camp, I kind of think now there is some type of competition, to be honest with you. There is some competition. So I do think that, Terry didn't play the whole first half, He's Terry, right? You know what I mean? So there's something that Jahan does need to prove. You know what I'm saying? There is something. It either understanding playbook, understanding the team. There is something Jahan has to grasp, right? So that's saying that the spot isn't his. You know what I mean? Just like Jay, for instance, Jaden only played a half, right? Not half, a series.
Series.
He only played, so it wasn't like Jaden had to prove anything. Jaden played a series. So I'm just saying, there is something to say that, all right, there's something you have to prove to the staff. I'm not on the notion of saying Jahan is on the outs or something like that. I'm just saying there is competition. You got Olamide out there too balling. He can be an individual that I like saying the Nigerian name.
I know.
He's a guy is he competing with him as well? Because he's had a great camp. The first we've had Donna Hopkins on the show, and I remember texted Donna before I even went to camp, and I was like, "Who balling?" She was saying Olamide was the one. He's the one balling. So he brought what he did in camp, and he brought that into the game because he made an explosive play. I think he had a penalty, brought it back, but he did make an explosive play. So is he competing with that? Is he competing with him? So there are things out there. I don't think that his position is locked in. I mean, as the number 2, I think players like Dyami Brown are out there. Dyami, Olamide, I think folks like that are out there ready, right there on his cleats. But I do think it's his job, though. It's his job to lose. I'm not going to hold you. I think it's his job to lose.
How did you also say during the broadcast?
How did you like Olamide Zaccheaus as the kick returner back there? Because we saw that.
Yeah. Too. I would like Casimir out there more. I think Casimir Allen could be more dynamic. But what you say, Ray, about the?
No, my bad, George. During the broadcast, B. Mitch was saying that Jahan is also trying to reestablish his confidence.
Yeah, you can see that
from last season, and then he bobbled the catch he made late in that first half, and he was saying, "See, he's a sure-handed guy. We saw it as a rookie, but he's got to get his confidence back because you see how he kind of bobbled that he didn't catch it securely. So that's part of it as well. Like you said, he's playing for a spot, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But he's shown what he can do. Kind of like what you mentioned about Derek Forrest. We've seen flashes. We've seen
I agree with you. Totally
that he can be a strong contributor. So we know that he can do that. It's just a matter of getting him fully established in Cliff Kingsbury's offense.
Cam, the homie Cam said Olamide is definitely our number 1 punt returner so far.
What's wrong with saying Zaccheaus, man? It's not hard.
No, he's Nigerian. I like the Nigerian part. Olamide. Olamide.
Well, that's the other thing. We didn't see Jamison Crowder back there at all, did we?
No, we didn't. We didn't. He did. And he's had a good camp. I think I do feel like they purposely just wanted to see certain dudes play. You can see it. You know what I mean? They wanted to see certain cats play and see what they brought to the table. I was impressed with a lot of the individuals. But let's go into the player that everybody cares about. I want to pull up a poll, but before I pull up this poll about the initial question, let's go into what everybody talked about. Jaden Daniels' performance. Jaden Daniels, I ain't gonna lie, I was very impressed with his performance. I know it was short, but 2 for 3 for 45 yards and a rushing touchdown. Also, he threw a sweet pass to Dyami Brown for 42 yards, a 42-yard pass. I'm gonna start with you, Ray, man. Your thoughts on the rookie QB1, Jaden Daniels?
2 quick things because everybody's been saying a lot of the same stuff about him, and it's all warranted. One is during the game, Zach Ertz did a sideline interview, and he said that Jaden Daniels actually checked out of the originally called play, and that's why Dyami Brown was open, and he made that read that he's that poised as a rookie. He puts in the work. He has that IQ on the football field, so I think that's extremely impressive. If he's able to bring that Peyton Manning type of element to this offense this coming season, in addition to what he does in the running game and how he can just make those schoolyard plays and he gets the ball out quick, I think it's going to be a fun season for Commander fans. I think you'll always feel like you're in the game, even if let's see this team falls behind. Secondly, he's playing at the same time as Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, and he stole the show on social media with his play in that first series.
Commander social media.
Hey, still, think about it. Caleb Williams is a DC kid, And usually, other star players steal the attention of even Commanders fans, and that didn't happen today. So
that's facts, right?
That's very true.
The overall attention of the NFL, but Commanders Twitter, yes. Don't minimize it, Wole.
I love Caleb, so he was
Caleb looked good though. Caleb
really good. Caleb did a lot. It's not Caleb's show though, but go ahead.
That's my point. There you go. Thank you. Perfect ending.
What's you, George? Your thoughts on
you know what? Everybody's going to wax lyrical about the throw, and that throw was magnificent. But you know what? Watching that Russian touchdown, how good was that read, and how good was he at he made that defensive end commit, and he pulls that ball out, and the tight ends make the right block. The tight end blocks the DB into the other DB, so that whatever chance he had to get Daniels was no chance, and Daniels is in there. And you know what I think we're going to see, or what I'm hoping we're going to see? I don't think we're going to see the read option in the middle of the field much, but down on the goal line with Daniels' running ability from about the 15-yard line in, that's going to be lethal, or that can be lethal for Washington. Yeah. So that was exciting to see that, because that is the read option run right to the highest level, the way he did that there. And I'm looking forward to seeing that in the red zone, and that's the other thing. They were good in the red zone today. Yeah. You know, that's been an issue. That's been a long running issue for these Washington teams. And to see some proficiency and some efficiency inside the red zone, very nice. And that was great. And I really love that play from Jaden Daniels, because he read that thing absolutely perfect.
Yeah, let's see, my man, Cam. That was the plan, to get a touchdown the first or a series just to get Daniels
just like
out.
Wole asked for.
That's all I asked for, man.
He said, I
wanted, man.
If they scored the first series, get him out.
Get him out. He did his job, man. I was impressed, man. Like, you know, like the first pass he had, the screen pass when he sailed it, he wasn't accurate on the pass. Like, I was like, is the pressure getting to the kid? But then he just stepped up and he made that pass to Diami. Perfect pass. Great catch too by Diami. It was just a perfect situation, man. Just one thing I think from watching him from college, and then watching clips from watching his clips in college, and also watching clips of him in camp, he throws a nice deep ball. Like, his deep ball is very accurate. That's something that has not left, and I just think that's something that you got to take advantage of. I do want to see him, you know, have those longer series where, you know, he's throwing up the middle, like trying to get I want to get 3rd and 13, 3rd and long. I want to see how he responds to that type of stuff. But in terms of like the offense as a whole, I was just highly impressed. Like, that was my fear. It wasn't that I didn't think Daniels couldn't flat out throw the football, but don't put everything on his shoulders. I just love the balance, man. Like, I didn't think like Cliff Kingsbury would do that. Now, granted, it's preseason, and I don't know. You don't know what can happen in the regular season. If somebody takes away the run, is he going to be stubborn and run the football, or will he just say, you know what, screw this, we're going to drop back, you know, 50, 60 times and throw the ball, right? But from watching today's performance, and again, it's just preseason. You're not really game planning for nothing. Like, this is not going to be your true identity probably in the regular season, but just to see him run the football with Austin Eckler, with B-Rob, with Rodriguez, like, I like that. Like, that's something I feel like, all right, this could be something. Cam said, how about the 3rd down conversion? The team was putrid last year.
That was your name.
I'm sorry, DJ. I said DJ. I said DJ.
Oh, I thought you said Cam. My bad.
Yeah. I think I said DJ. I don't know.
That's what, you can always run it back. But anyway, I felt like 8 penalties, 65 yards on 2 conversions. You had penalties that brought them back. That obviously happens in preseason, but you want to clean that up moving forward, because moving the chains is going to be so critical. And 3rd downs, like he said, last year was horrible. I do think you'll see a change. Jaden Daniels brings so much to the table, and we hear that Cliff Kingsbury is this great offensive mind. He is creative, and he's excited about what he can do with all the tools that Jaden Daniels possesses. So I think that'll change this coming season, honestly. And it wasn't bad this game. Like you said, even the Zacchaeus catch, I believe, was on a 3rd down, but it was called back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just felt like
my bad.
There you go. You said, say his Nigerian name. And let it flow, bro. Let it flow. You're not letting it flow. Let it flow.
I don't have an accent like you do, bro. I'm sorry.
I know. I can. Yes, right. I can make an accent up. Yeah, I can. I'm versatile. I have the PG accent and also the Nigerian accent. You're right. That's true. I take that. I'll take that in stride. All right, man. Other than hey,
I was going to say who stood out to y'all? Dujane, Cam, those of you who are watching, chime in. Steve, who stood out to you guys in this game? We'll start with you, George. I know you kind of already gave us some tips on that already, but go ahead. Let us know.
Well, again, I mentioned it earlier, seeing our drafted players that were drafted this year play well. I mean, Mikey Sanders still stuck his nose right in there a few times and put it on somebody. But the Ben Sinnott thing was huge because, you know, his camp was kind of passes, and we were all kind of a little bit concerned about that. And that first one he caught and then ran through about 3 guys. Woo! That's more like it from our tight end. So I was very happy to see the rookies play well. And that's what has, if there's anything that makes me more excited, is that it looks like our rookies are getting in there. And you know what? Because Wole has been pro Jamin Davis and has been saying that people shouldn't be giving up on him. How about that start that Jamin Davis had at the beginning of the game, making some plays early? Liked seeing that from Jamin Davis. And confidence, I think, is going to be a big thing for him.
It's essential. Yeah, it's essential. You pretty much, Jamin stood out to me. Just, you're playing a new position. His first 2 plays, getting off the block and be able to kind of, help with the run game. I felt like he was, he played his role and he played it well. I thought he set the edge, like my man D Mitty said, like Jamin set the edge a lot, man. He did a great job at it. I just think it's gonna make him a better football player. He can do 2 things now. He can rush the passer, and also, he still has linebacker and pedigree, right? He's played this position, and like I said earlier, said on a prior show, he's gotten better every year playing linebacker. So now you're adding pass rushing. It's just something he can just more to the toolbox he has in his game now. De'Ami Brown's a guy who stood out to me, man. I'm just happy that, again, like, I'm happy for the people who get like negative flack on X. I ain't gonna hold you. There's one guy that does, but he didn't showcase it for me today. But we'll talk about him later. But like, I'm happy De'Ami did what I thought he was going to do. I tweeted off the rip. The first 3 wide receivers in the game are De'Ami, Terry, and Jahan. It's what I said was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, people get fixated on the depth chart, saying, "Oh, he's the slot." Who's the slot? Those are 3 top receivers. That's not how it works in the NFL. Like, especially nowadays, when your number 1 wide receiver can play in the slot. So you're not going to locate. You're not going to say our WR1 is going to be your slot. You're not going to put it that. You're not going to do it that way. So your WR1 is Terry. Your WR2 is Jahan, and in real talk, your WR3 is De'Ami. That's it. That's how it works. De'Ami, you can move Terry and you can move Jahan in the slot, either or. De'Ami is an outside receiver. He's not a slot receiver. He's an outside receiver. So now you have your 3 best receivers out there. And now, now you can showcase speed out there on the football field. You got speed. You got playmakers. You got guys who can get yards after the catch. You have all that now in your situations and on your squad. I'd rather have that than just, all right, somebody, just a regular basic person, not to be funny, but somebody basic. I'd rather have that than something basic. So I was happy for De'Ami. I was happy with I'm trying to think. Sanders still played well. Loved the way he played. Ben Sinnott, I thought it was big. It was big. Ray mentioned like Cooley like. That was Cooley like. That was definitely Cooley like. You know what I mean? Like carrying people, getting that catch, and then just carrying people. Him in the blocking game, I thought he blocked well. He did a lot of good things. This is the thing. Like sometimes I think people get overly fixated within camp and say, "Oh, he's having a bad camp." Some people are just game ballers. Like some people are just flat out game ballers. I liked Hartman. Like I was like that. Like that Hartman was swing. He ripping that thing like and accurate too. You had a couple guys who dropped some passes, but Hartman to me looked good. I just thought that like a lot of young dudes, like George mentioned, really, really looked good. DJ said Ben made a solid catch, shows a physicality about him. Though that Davis played well also. He thought that thought that Davis played well also. I'll also say the O-line didn't do too bad. I agree. I think they can't put together. I think they can't put together a solid group. Can or can't?
He probably think they can. That's all.
Can, okay. All right.
I agree with all what Dujane said. Yes.
Yeah. Mitty said 50. Pittman. Yeah. Pittman. 57 was all around the ball a lot too. Yes,
especially
he was.
Late in that game.
Late in that game.
He stood out.
Yeah. DJ said KJ Henry also showed a consistent ability to rush the passer, but also be disciplined. I agree.
So was it KJ Henry on that play where Martinez extended and I think it was a third down?
You mean he was out of position?
Yeah, well, he got out the pocket.
I think that may have been James.
That was on that basically game-winning drive.
That might have been KJ before that. You talking about that could have been KJ. That could have been KJ.
Because I said they get that sack, then they get the ball back and they win that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who made that block for JD? I think it was Sennett. I think.
It was one of the tight ends, and apparently Cole Turner had a really good block on that.
I thought it was Cole, but I'm not sure.
It could be okay. I could be wrong. Sure. Okay, I thought it was Center. Okay.
Somebody on Twitter said that Cole basically took his guy and pushed him out of the end zone.
That's good, man, because he needs that. That's good. Thanks, George. Appreciate you.
You've been hearing, Cole Turner can't block. Cole Turner can't block. Well, maybe Cole Turner can block.
Yeah, everybody says he can block. Yeah, he said he blocked two people. Yeah, two. I hope it is. I mean, everybody know I'm a Cole Turner dude, but it is what it is. All right, so let's get into like some of the negatives then, bro. Who are some of the players that didn't help themselves today? I'm gonna start with you. Hey, George, you know how to keep it real. So I'm gonna start with you first. Ray sugarcoated.
You mean besides that first kicker doinking the kick? Poor old Manuel Forbes got.
I knew it.
I didn't want to put him as a topic. I just had to say it. Like I knew it. Yeah, it gotta be said, bro. It gotta be.
He got cooked again. Dang it! It was not good. I mean, and it was a nice pass to be fair, and all that, but
he had the receiver to beat you though.
Forbes was like he looked like he had no idea where he was supposed to be there, and that's no good.
DJ said it didn't help himself today, bro.
DJ's absolutely right about that. He didn't, and we had a couple of, like I said, we had a couple of penalty issues on the special teams. I'm trying to remember if the same guy got it twice or not, but that certainly didn't help either.
Mm-hmm.
But Forbes is the big one, but this kicking situation is it's not good.
Not good. I know. Ray, what about you, bro?
You know what? I think it was Shelly who had tweeted that on that touchdown drive where Emmanuel Forbes got beat, none of the defensive backs were good.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is Percy Butler, he made a lot of tackles, and I think that keeps him around. I know we were discussing if he was on block or not, but he's in on every time. He got trucked. George pointed that out. But still, the fact that he made 2 solo tackles, he led the team in tackles today, and he just looked like he wants to smoke. He's trying to make the roster. He's playing hard. I got to show him some love, even though as a whole, the defensive backs, kind of piggybacking on what George said, probably were one group that left a lot to be desired today for the fan base. And I'm not saying that's going to be concerning moving forward. I think for a guy like Dan Quinn, who's defensive minded, who's a player's coach, I think that he's going to take the film. He's going to watch it with these guys. He's going to place emphasis on what needs to be fixed. And if you're not going to get it right, then Adam Peters is going to get you out of here. I said that was what I was looking forward to. So the defensive back group is something that could be labeled a negative, especially because Forbes is somebody who played longer, and he did not look the part where people thought he would learn from some of the experiences last year. He gained some weight. He looked as though he was trying to make, strides. And
he did gain some weight. You can see it too. Yeah.
B. Mitch was saying during the broadcast that during the week he had a good practice, especially that. What do you call it again? Doggone, it's not inter squad. What do you call it?
The scrimmage.
Yeah. So he
had a good ending to this.
He had like 3 batted down balls in that practice, and the team felt, the coaches felt that he was going to translate that same success onto the field, and that's why the games are necessary. That's why preseason matters, fam, because practices, even the joint practices, you might look good, but once you get out there in front of those bright lights, the fans are there. Washington had a pretty good turnout fan-wise too. You saw that. It's unfortunate that he struggled, but defensively, if you're getting pressure, that's going to help the DBs, and I think that that front four playing more next week will give a better indication of how the defensive backfield will look. But today, unfortunately for me, that was the negative.
Let me see what DJ said. The first kicker should just be released and bring in a few vets for competition.
You
I agree with you, DJ.
39-yard.
That's horrible. He was horrible, bro. That was as soon as I just rolled my eyes.
At least the extra points went through today, man.
That don't mean nothing, crap. That's horrible.
No, you need that extra point, miss.
Man, give me. I need to see. This is what my fear was when I said this before, man. They're gonna put pressure on Jay and Dan to be perfect, having bad kickers, dog. I'm serious. Like they need to stop. They need to stop playing with this. They need to stop playing. Casimir Allen looked fast out there. He did, bro. I want him to be the returner for real. Negative. I already said Forbes. I mean, like I've been a big Forbes supporter for a while, and I'm starting to see like, maybe he may not be it. Maybe I'm not giving up, but like, because I ignored all the stuff about him getting burnt by Garrett Wilson in the scrimmage, right? In a joint scrimmage, joint practice. I ignored it because I was like, you're going against Garrett Wilson. Like Garrett Wilson gives Sauce Gardner the business sometimes in practice. Exactly. So what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? And it's one-on-one, no safety help. So you're not going to see Garrett Wilson one-on-one safety help. Now, like I want to look up the dude. I'm trying to look up the dude that he got beat by. But I believe the dude he got beat by was like, who are you? Like the dude that beat him for the touchdown. I think it was 17. I think it's number 17. No, sorry, wrong person. His number, Brownlee. Brownlee beat him. Brownlee. I don't know. That's not supposed to happen. Not for Emmanuel. That's not supposed to happen. Like, and it's something that you should be around. You shouldn't be beat off the rip, off the press coverage. Like, you shouldn't get beat off the rip. Like, you are still a first round pick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like it wasn't like he was beat bad, but you got to dominate that situation. That's all. Like, and. Like, you should know, all right, this is what is said about me, that I don't do well with these vertical routes. I don't do well with them. Like, I get, if you get beat by Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, I'll use our division. CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, I get that. Like, I get dudes like that. But not Brownlee, bro. Not Brownlee. So, like, you need to go back into the lab and really like hone in on your skill set, because I do think, because he had an interception in that scrimmage, right? He had an interception in that scrimmage. Nobody talks about it. I do think like he has the ability to be good. It's just that he has to like hone in on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, and I feel like there's confidence issues, right? Like, if everybody keeps saying, I mean, this is a younger generation. If everybody keeps going in on like X or Instagram and they keep saying you trash or whatever, this, that, and the other, it plays on you, and it plays on you to your in terms of your mentality. You start to press, and you want to show everybody that you're not that person. Forget that you may not believe it, but you want to show everybody that you're not the person they say you are. You know what I'm saying? So I just want him to go out and play football, because we know this for real, bro. Like, real talk. The best cornerbacks get beat. I remember Deion Sanders is one of the best cornerbacks I've ever seen in my life. I saw Deion get beat by Flipper Anderson. Like, cornerbacks get beat, bro. It happens. Don't matter. I love Darrell Green. I've seen Darrell Green get beat by wide receivers. I'm like, wide receivers who are like, who is that? So it happens. You get beat. But I just want him to just go out and play football, bro. Like, that's it. Just go out and play football. Other negatives, I do not like the tackle. Huh? What'd you say, Ray?
No, I was just saying I agree with you. It's just that it's the margin of error for him is slim because
I agree.
What happened last season. It's just like if a good running back fumbles, you like, okay, running backs fumble sometimes. He was a great fumble. However, when Antonio Gibson fumbled, it was like, you can't fumble.
Yeah, facts. So I agree with you, bro. I totally agree.
When you're Emmanuel Forbes, I'm just saying from the fan perspective, like, you can't get beat. Like,
I know, bro.
Twitter went off like Forbes. Oh, here we go, same old. Yeah. Like, and I know it's not all about the fans, but even for your coaches, again, coming off a 4-win season, not a good look for you.
Yeah,
against Brownlee, like you said.
Yeah, let me hear. Here you go. My man DJ said Trayvon Diggs takes more L's than most in the league, but makes up with interceptions. That's what I'm hoping for, bro. Yeah. Like I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping he could just kind of like, if he starts getting some picks, it's going to ignore. He'll start to be okay. DJ also put out there, if you let the clout chasing media tell it, from the scrimmage. The Commanders were going to look like boo-boo today. Stop with the overreactions of scrimmages.
No, he's got a very good point, because I kind of, my expectations were a little bit lower because apparently that joint practice didn't go well, and I was like, boy, I hope we don't come out here and get, and look really terrible, and Jaden's running for his life and all this. And yeah, I think Dejanay's spot on there. I think we as a fan base, or I certainly did, probably did react a little over much to what happened in the joint practice, and it held up a lot better today. They didn't win, but it held up a lot better today.
Yeah, we're supposed to just shout out to folks. We are supposed to be getting Candy Waller from Bowie TV. She's the Washington Commander reporter for Bowie TV. She's live on site at MetLife. So once she's done with the pressers and the locker room interview, she'll be out here with us to tell us how the vibe of like that locker room with the players and whatnot. But yeah, another negative for me was I didn't like the tackling. I know everybody talk about the secondary. I did not like the tackling. I didn't like the run defense. I didn't like it at all as a whole, as a unit. And I know people say, well, Jonathan Allen didn't play, Deron Payne didn't play, but I've said this before in prior seasons that I just think that tackling and playing defense fast, which they did play fast, I won't say they didn't play fast, is a mentality. That's a coaching mentality. That's something that you coach, that you breed that environment. Ray and I love using the Ravens as an example. We've always mentioned the Ravens. We're not Raven fans, folks, but we like to mention them because of culture. Because of culture. And you see even their bench players, the dudes, they third, fourth stringers, the way they tackle. There's an attitude and there's a mentality to it. And I didn't like the way we tackled at all. So I just feel like that needs to improve. I know it's harder to do in today's football because of the lack of, tackling and practice and whatnot, but still, there's other organizations that do a little bit better. Like the Niners do a better job of it too. So I just feel like they need to be better tacklers. That's something I definitely need to see better out of them. My man, Gearsell, man, what's up, homie?
Yes, sir.
Overall decent performance, but secondary struggled. Run defense was suspect, and some of Ron's picks show why he was fired.
Not one lie told there.
No lie told there. Will not lie.
It's accurate. So it's going to take some time to continue to turn that page from the Ron Rivera era, because there are this team is full of is laden with Ron picks.
A lot of Ron picks, bro. A lot of Ron picks.
And it's going to take some time, but that's where I think coaching comes in and that culture comes in. That's being implemented here. Well, they hit it on the head with the Ravens comparison. I know we do it enough.
We do it, but it's the truth though.
But still, when players on one team don't perform well and they go to the Ravens, all of a sudden they're a pretty solid contributor because the culture is so different, and they put guys to the right position to succeed. So hopefully that happens this year with guys like Reeves and Quan Martin, so the secondary doesn't look like it did last season.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just like I didn't
like the penalties, bro.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk.
I didn't like the penalties. I know you were talking about negatives. Again, 8 penalties, 65 yards. Again, in the moments that they came at, where I felt like big plays were called back, and then that last drive, we were hearing. I know George, you mentioned that Hartman wasn't put back out there because he was being evaluated for injury, but it was like what, 1st and 34 or something like that on that last drive because of
and after a good kick return, we had good field position too.
Yes, absolutely. It was a delay of game penalty, and I believe it was a false start. And then right away on a drive that matters, where you could get your young guys good experience in a situation where you're trying to score a touchdown and get yourself a win. You have these penalties that put you in a position where basically you just have to run draw plays, and you have to punt the ball and give it over to the other team. I didn't like that. I was like, man, you needed to better execute in a position like that. And I think the coaching staff will look at that, of course, this coming week in film study. And next week, you're going to see more starters. So these guys who were trying to make an impression on the coaches, they won't have as many opportunities next week. And I feel like they blew it right there at the end of the game. So you want to clean up the penalties. That's something that obviously kills drives and it kills momentum.
Yeah, something what Janae said. I agree. It doesn't matter who is out there. Everyone has to tackle and tackle well from the first to the last. All must be sound in their tackling technique. That's the thing. I just feel like, I feel like that's what has to happen when you're playing deep. Like,
You mentioned Percy Butler. It felt like both of those, some of those times that he made tackles, it's because guys broke through.
Yeah, they did
contact, and he had to end up making a tackle. And I mean, it was like that running back was looking for him.
Yeah,
try to truck him because he did it 2 times in a row. And it's like, God. But you know what you appreciate about Percy Butler is that he didn't let it get him down, and he kept getting back in there and kept playing hard. And I wonder if that's an example of how the culture is starting to change already, because he's getting told in his ear, hey, don't worry about it. Keep fighting, keep swinging. We like what you're doing in there. But it's kind of frustrating for him because he gets put in that position because, Daniels runs through first contact both times.
I agree. Gearsell also said, I do understand that the Jets have been in that system for 3-4 years, and
yes,
we are still putting things 100%. Together.
That's why it was a good measuring stick. So I agree with that. But I like how the sideline went off for Tress when he makes the tackle. Just have that same energy for everybody, because they're talking about how the tackling wasn't good. Let's make sure you shore that up for the guys that are supposed to be making tackles.
Yeah,
I get why Tress was hyped.
You got to understand why he's the punter, bro. Like you got to for the punter, bro. But I know you're right though. But you got real talk. You got to be hyped up for the punter.
You got to be, no doubt. I loved it.
Because he's not supposed to do anything.
If there was one point of that game that symbolized a culture shift, that was one of them right there.
I agree. That's a good point, Ray. That's a very good point. DJ said, because let's be real, your starters can get hurt, and you're going to be relying on these backups to carry the load. Can't have any drop off.
Oh, good point. That's the be more way right there, Dujane. They have major injuries every season and don't miss a beat. Right there in the mix, make the playoffs, compete even at the quarterback position. It happens, but we're not Baltimore fans. We just like the culture. I'm gonna keep.
No, it's like the culture.
And the thing is, it's going to take a few years to get to that level. We will not have that depth this year. We won't.
I'm not a Ravens fan, but somehow I got this little
help. But everybody understand that.
You're not a Redskins fan. Yeah, I know, but you're not.
A couple of years from now, if the drafting is good and we're smart in free agency, we will be that team that has that kind of depth that we can have some injuries and still not drop off. Because that is absolutely it. I mean, the Ravens have had really good players, including their quarterback, get hurt, and they still find a way to win games. That's what we're trying to get to. We're not going to get there all at once, but we're starting that. And again, I think today I saw a lot of things that were positive in terms of culture building and tone setting that I think are that augur well for the future for this franchise and for this coaching staff.
What about the veterans, though, that also are helping to set the tone? Bobby Wagner obviously stands out. Terry is there. But Zach Ertz is another name. He mentioned as well, he said, I'm not here to coach. I'm not here to tell guys how to play. But I've been around the league long enough. I played at the highest level, and I played this position at the top of the league for so long that if you have questions, I encourage everybody to come to me. Not just the tight ends, but everyone can come to me and ask me questions about how to win, and honestly how to win in this division. I think he can also give you knowledge. So I think the veteran leadership is also integral for changing the culture as well.
No, I definitely agree. Gearsell also put out there. It looks like the O-line, I guess the offense will play fast with multiple formations, which is exciting. I think. All right, so that's one thing I do want to we can go. So we talked about a lot of negatives. So we can go something positive. I am excited about what I saw out of like the offense as a whole. Like I'm now I was real negative on Cliff Kingsbury. I'm about to not be, and I feel like I'm turning into that fan. The one preseason game, I'm getting hyped up a little bit, but I did like the way he ran the football. I know I said it earlier, but I did like the way he ran the football because, man, it's going to be essential to the growth of Jaden Daniels. We saw what happened with Sam Howell when they didn't run the football and how that kind of crushed him down the road. But here I just think that you're going to make life easier because I am such a believer in Brian Robinson as a running back. And then seeing what you have with Eckler too at the same time, that combo threat, you got potential to do some real damage, and you can take away some of the pressure away from Jaden Daniels to just go ahead and make certain throws that he can make. You know what I mean? You definitely take away with this type of with the potential of this running game, you definitely take away some of the pitfalls of having a rookie quarterback. You know what I'm saying? for instance, I remember like Ray. We all old enough. We watched the young Ben Roethlisberger when he had Jerome Bettis, and how easy it made life easy for him, knowing that he can turn around, give that dude the rock, and then on play action that he can go deep to like Hines Ward or hit Hines Ward up the middle or whatever. Like he had that type of, or Randall L back then when he had Randall L. Like it made life easy for Big Ben. And then Antonio, eventually, as he got older, he got to be that cerebral assassin as a quarterback. So to me, it just makes life easy when you do have like a good running game and you lean on it to a point where now Jaden is now looking at 3rd and 5 rather than 3rd and 13. Now 3rd and 5 with his skill set, even running the football, he's even more of a threat. There's more you have to worry about. That's what makes Lamar like that's what the Ravens did with Lamar. I'm using the Ravens again. Good God. Ravens did with Lamar. Like you had a running game and utilizing his running ability, it made life easier for Lamar. Now he can graduate to be a better passer. So I'm just saying, like, hey, I know, right? Go ahead, put that crap down. Now it just makes life easier for Jaden Daniels. So for me, like Cliff Kingsbury is the biggest positive for me right now. Like one of the biggest positives.
Hey, what a shift! You hear?
I know, right, Ray? Like
I know. This is politics at its finest.
No. And with this one thing I tell
this is the NIH come out.
Because I tell
Dr. Fauci right here, we don't need masks. Put your mask on.
Look. Hey, no, listen, bro, listen. I said this on Twitter, on X. I'm gonna say Twitter. I'm sick of saying X. I said this. Like, I have no problem being wrong, bro. I have no problem being wrong.
But you always been like that. You go hard.
Like I'll tell folks.
You're consistent. Like that's the thing. I will never take that away from you. If you're wrong, you're quick to say it. I remember one of the funniest ones because we've been doing this show for so long. Was Pierre Garçon. They signed Pierre Garçon. You were like, oh, I ain't excited about it. You said that on there for weeks. That first slant, RG3 in the one, oh, he looked good. I was like, dang, it don't take much.
He did. Look, Paul
don't take much.
Paul is one of them. See, Ray, when I said, look, he's in trouble. I'm like, he ain't in trouble, homie.
No, not at all.
Paul is
one of them. Y'all know how Paul rolled.
I know, Paul, my guy.
Paul goes 0 to 100.
By the way, you want to talk about the running backs? What about the kid Wiley in the fourth?
He looked good. No, he looked really good. He can block out. He can block out the backfield. He can run. Like I was
some wheels on that little flip 90 or whatever they call it. That little kind of like halfway option pitch.
Yeah,
he got the corner real quick on that.
Yeah, he is. Nice. You mean the pitch? Yeah, the pitch.
The option.
The option pitch. Yeah, he looked really good. Like Paul, fire. Yeah, Paul, he was fire, bro. Mm-hmm. Real talk.
I mean, there's gonna be some tough. There's gonna be some tough decisions.
Yes.
In that running back room.
I agree.
Right now.
That's a good question. I think Mayhew. First of all, Mayhew. Obviously around this organization for years, had some success in Detroit. I think that's why he's still here. I think his resume as a player, his history in Washington, also what he's done around the league, I think that's why he's still here. And I think those are Ron picks. I mean, Hurney came later than Mayhew, but Hurney was part of that group as well. And it gave Ron the autonomy. So Ron is the one that's out. I think if anything, Mayhew is definitely not making decisions with Peters around, so it doesn't matter.
I guess be uncomfortable with that if Lance Newmark wasn't here, but Lance Newmark is here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I don't know what kind of a role. I think it's advisory mainly. Yeah, but I don't think Mayhew has.
Just like Doug Williams, their respective voices.
Yeah, just like Doug Williams. No disrespect, just like Doug Williams for real.
Respective voices in the organization. I don't have no issue with it. At least Ron, if Ron was still the coach here, that'd be a problem right now. So I think everybody's happy that he's gone.
Yeah, who you telling, bro?
What did y'all think about Cleveland Farrell? By the way, I just want to throw it out there.
Farrell.
I mean, obviously,
I ain't care about him. He doing it for me.
Okay.
I mean, did you like him? Did you like him?
I want to see more.
I don't think.
Well, it was a small sample size, but
because he's an underachiever.
You talk about exactly. We talk about guys who are going to fly around the football. I think he's definitely one that's going to fit into that category. And when the team plays with energy and plays fast.
He's a first-round pick for the Raiders, right?
Yeah, picked him 4, which that was a shocker.
Yeah, so
many shockers.
Well, that's like Commanders West. So
yeah,
the old command. Well, no, I would say Commanders West because things changed obviously when Dan took over the team. The Hogs going back when that wasn't the culture back then.
He said just 2 catches, but Allen gets 2 first downs. EB didn't even try getting him the ball last year. Yeah, I mean, I like Kazmir Allen. I do. Yeah. I think he's got like. I think he's got like.
You said that from Jump Street. You want to see more. You want to see him in the special teams as well.
Yeah,
got that explosion.
Yeah.
So Diami could be in special teams. Well, we already know.
I don't want him to do special teams. I want him to just be a receiver. I think they be.
Diami looks motivated. He
look motivated. He's been motivated. If folks peeped his IG and stuff like that, he's been hella motivated though.
But he has hands, and he's not scared.
Yeah. His staff. I think he likes his staff.
I think so too.
And I think he feels like he's going to be better used. And like it or not, there are some players out there that if they think they're not going to get used right, they check out. And I think that's
true. No, that's true. That's a fact. That's not a lot. That's a fact.
Gilmore. Who was Gilmore visiting today? The Titans. I heard Gilmore was visiting.
Oh, is it? Is he? Okay.
Is it Tennessee he was visiting?
I don't know. I gotta check.
Gilmore, but that's the thing. It's not like Gilmore's the kind of guy you're signing if you're close to winning, like maybe winning big because he's a veteran.
Oh,
who can make a few big plays for you. We've got some veterans on this team, and he would be another good one. I don't know. I don't want to block these young guys that could potentially play and need to develop to sign Stephon Gilmore.
I don't think they. I mean, I would agree. I don't think they have a guy. I mean, it would be Emmanuel, but he's just not. What it is. But I think Gilmore. I think Gilmore will be good. This is the reason why I think he'll be good because he would be good for this. Just like how Bobby Wagner is good for the other guys. Gilmore would be good for Emmanuel Forbes and also a Benjamin St-Juste. He would be good for those guys. So I'm
out of town next week too. By the way, my bad. I cut you off. I'm so sorry.
You good, bro? No problem.
I want my man Paul to come through, man. Paul got to jump on.
Yeah,
Paul is great.
He said Jamin did good at Deacon. Yeah,
he did.
My bad, Wole. Did well. No, you good, bro?
Paul be getting me hype. He came for me yesterday.
Paul said, De'Ami Brown is number 2. I see. That's what I was saying. I think it could happen. happen.
Okay, so is that an overreaction? Because Paul be having the overreactions.
No, the reason why I say that because you know why I say that because when you're all right, this is the thing. It doesn't really matter. I'll be real with you. Why does it matter? Because wide receivers nowadays there's 3 set wide receivers. It's 3 set, so it don't matter. To be real with you, it doesn't matter. But De'Ami would be outside and Jahan would be inside, and which is cool. I think because Jahan against a nickel with his route running should work out better at nickel. He should get wide open against a linebacker in a nickel corner. You know what I'm saying? So you get a deep threat out there, or you can move Terry out inside, whatever. But De'Ami, you put Jahan in the slot and let him go get busy. So it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
I think De'Ami's versatile too, though. I really do.
He's not ideally a slot. He's just not ideally.
No. I'm just saying. But if you line him up, I think he's tough over the middle.
But but he's not. But you gotta be. You gotta be shifty. You gotta be shifty in the slot. You gotta be. He's not De'Ami.
But he's more of a deep threat, though. No doubt.
Yeah.
I'm a De'Ami fan. I said that when they first drafted him.
I am.
I think he has hands. I think he's not afraid to get hit. I think he's somebody that. He's gonna make those tough catches, man. He's getting an opportunity now. I'm cool with him being number 2. Don't get it twisted. I like to mess with Paul because he always coming for my man Penix.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like you can. I'm with
like
you. Penix. Oh, you Penix a guy too. For real talk.
He sailed a couple passes. There.
Oh, did he? Like, I ain't watch his game. I ain't gonna
I watch every throw. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, I know you do.
Number 8, shoot.
Forbes said Forbes still plays like he wears good
corduroy. He got to get his big boy pants, man. Listen.
Hey, go ahead, bro.
Forbes is going to have to be somebody that he's going to have to cut off social media because the worst thing he could do is look up his name today because he was trending and not in a good way. So I would cut everything off similar to how boxers do right before a fight week. Cut out all the noise, man. Listen, go out there and play your game. Well, they say that. Go out there and play your game, be consistent. And if you continue to perform in practice, hopefully that will translate to the field. No doubt.
Yeah, we waiting on Candy. Candy's about to get situated and come on the show.
Okay, no worries.
Yes.
But, no worries because you can always talk. Now that we've got some film and we've seen them go against another team like Wole and I have been talking about for weeks, we've been starving for them to actually play football because the training camp doesn't do anything. So I'm cool with these discussions until Candy jumps on.
No, I am. And we got Glenn about to come on right now. So we about to be.
Oh man, now
we about to. We got Glenn about to be on this show. I'm waiting for Glenn to get situated. As soon as Glenn gets situated, Glenn gonna let himself on the show.
Glenn always use words like exciting and dominant. You know what I'm saying? For like Commanders practices and preseason. That dude, right?
But I think Glenn gonna like it because they ran the football.
But he's a coach, though. Glenn is naturally a coach, wrestling and football. So that aggression, when he sees something he likes, I trust his judgment, although the fan part skews it a little bit for him, you know. And if he's gonna lean one way, it's always towards Wole. You notice that, George? Have you experienced that yet? That's why. That's probably why I'm not part of this show full time no more. You know, because I was always ganged up on. I couldn't have the like. Hey,
you know why?
I remember saying the Commanders gave away this game. How can you say that? Like, dang.
You know why? Because I'm always right. Only when I'm
don't let Wole. You got tickets to a game yet? Don't let him attend the game, George. It gets worse. He's like, I was there, so I saw it. You can't win. Last season, Sam Howell, he almost threw a pick on a screen.
Game?
Like, you know what? That's an effort play, man. My man, like, no, that's for EB. Glenn, like, yep, I agree. I'm like, come on, Glenn. Seriously, man.
You know why? Yeah.
Thankfully, D. Mitty saved me that day. He hopped on the post game. He's like, man, the effort just wasn't there. The effort wasn't
there. You talking about Chicago game?
Round, huh?
You talking about Chicago game?
No. There was no arguments during the Chicago game.
Okay,
if there was one game where Glenn actually went on the team, he was like, you can get it. You can get it. You remember that night, Glenn? Glenn was excited about that. He was pissed. He was so mad. That was excitement.
Hey, Glenn, you can jump on if you want to. You good? All right. You good jump on?
We all had funny reactions because DJ Moore went off. There he is. Coach Glenn is in the building.
Yo, what's up,
Glenn?
fellas?
What's going on? Hey, Glenn, we already talked about it. Talked about what we thought was good about this team, man. I want to know your overall thoughts on this game, bro. What did you see? What did you like?
You know, I like the offense, actually. I like the everybody seemed like they was playing free. They seemed like they was playing fun. Seemed like I think Ray said a little bit earlier, it seemed like this team came out prepared, right? That's what I like. They came out prepared, unlike it. And I know it's the first preseason game, but it seemed like their preparedness was great. I think Dahami had a good game. It's going to make the wide receiver room a little interesting. I think that's going to be good there. I like the young Ken Wiley, you know, the running back. That's going to make the running back room a little bit interesting as well, because again, you got multiple running back. I think Brian Robinson Jr. is still going to be the starter. I think Eckler is going to be your fantasy machine, touchdown guy catching out of the backfield. I do think tackling was a little suspect. I think if somebody had to be concerned today, it had to be Jamin Davis, because Jamin played a lot of time with the guys who are trying to make a team. If you think about it, Jamin was out there late into the game with guys who are trying to make this team, and just made me think, is Jamin trying to make the team? You know, I know he was getting more reps at defensive end, but I don't think that defensive end thing is going to work for Jamin Davis, and I don't think, I'm going to call it here, I don't think Jamin Davis will be a commander when time comes to the end of this. I think Jamin Davis will be gone from this Washington Commanders team. But I do agree with some of the people that are in the chat that this team will get better as the season progresses. I think you're starting to see the cohesiveness. You start to see what the coaching staff brings, the attitude, the mindset, challenging guys. I think one thing towards the end, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, I like how Dan Quinn managed his timeouts, trying to get this team to win a game, trying to get them to be competitive, knowing that there's no overtime in preseason, but he's doing everything he could just to get them the dub. And, you know, some people say preseason W's don't make a difference or don't matter. But for this organization, I think a W does matter, right? A good showing, a win does matter for this organization. Some organizations like Kansas City and, you know, New England, when they heyday, preseason didn't mean anything. But for a young team who's changing a regime and trying to turn around a culture, preseason means everything.
All right, we got right now we got Bowie TV's Commanders reporter Candy Waller on. What is going on, Candy?
Hey,
live on site from MetLife, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, I have to look around.
No.
the ops. Okay. Hey, y'all.
So, how you doing, Candy? So
I'm doing all right.
First off, like, how's the vibe with you were there for the presser, locker room stuff? How's the vibe?
The vibe is cool. You know, I mean, they lost, you know, but, you know, I'm an advocate for them losing in the preseason. I am. I ain't gonna lie. Because historically, whenever they do well in the preseason, they lose in life. That's what I told LA. I said they lose in life. They lose all regular season long. After I don't know what it is. And so I'd be like, yeah. As soon as they lost, I said, yes. So this is real. This is really this is real now. This is going to get better because it's not a good sign when they start winning in preseason. Just I don't know. That's when the superstitious side of me starts coming in. But you know what? Overall, the vibe is good. Mm-hmm. It is not any sad faces or anything. Guys got in great work. Mm-hmm. Jaden Daniels at the podium was good. He was good. Mm-hmm. And I had to laugh a little bit in Dan Quinn's presser, try to hold in my laugh as much as possible when he started to describe when Jaden went off script on that play to Diami. That was not the play. That was not the play. But Jaden did say in his presser that Coach Kingsbury told him if you see, we call something, you don't see it, you don't like it, you can check it. So he checked it, but didn't tell nobody he was going to check it. And then he said that he joked about it earlier, like, I'm going to, but in the moment, he didn't know he was going to until he got out there and he did. So it's good stuff, really good stuff.
Doesn't that show the trust, though, that he's already building with Kingsbury and the staff, that they're already saying to him, and it's preseason game 1, year 1, hey, look, if there's something you don't like, you can check to it. And I think that goes back to OTAs and just how good he was in terms of the work and the preparation and the mental approach that he showed there.
He loves football. I've said this on my show several times. I mean, and I'll say it here. He really loves football. All of these guys do. And I think, some, I may say that, and then folks may say, well, of course they love football because they're playing. No. Not everybody that's great at it loves it. Mm-hmm. It's two different things, and it's two different types of energies that are brought, and he really loves this, and I think it gives the guys all the juice in the world to see him take that chance in a preseason game. I also think it's important to mention from Dan Quinn's press conference that Jaden asked to go back out. He wanted to, they had already agreed he would only play one series. Marcus Mariota would only play one series in this game. And Jaden asked to go back in, and they had to tell him no. And that is not, and he did not only play one series. I want to be clear on this as well from head coach Dan Quinn's press conference. He did not only play one series because they scored.
Okay.
It did not matter. He was only going to do one series, whether they scored or not. And so the fact that he wanted to go back in and they were like, nope.
Speaking of QB1, Sam Hartman, you got an update on him because you the one that reported that he was being evaluated for injury. I was wondering why he didn't go back in for that last drive.
Right. We saw him downstairs. He's walking around. He does look a little bit frustrated. He has ice pack. He's wrapped up with an ice pack. I guess it would be on his right shoulder. So not sure what that means, but he is up and mobile and moving around, but he is definitely wrapped up pretty good with ice on that right shoulder.
Awesome, because we gotta get to Forbes soon. You already know that, right?
Yes. Yeah. So did anybody talk to Forbes? Or
I did not.
You did not?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? You keep it pretty much. You keep it 100. So, what were your thoughts overall, though? First of all, what were some of your negatives? I'll start there.
Well, I want to say it's tough, right? It's tough because it's like you always have to put things into context. I posted something today that was like, I'm not trying to blow anybody's high, but the Jets had 28 players that didn't play today.
Facts. Okay? I think that does need to be out there too.
And I think that needs to be out there when tempering expectations. I just think it just needs to be said because everybody, myself included, will get carried away. Like, and you see so much improvement. Did I see an improvement from Thursday with Forbes and in some other areas as well? Yes, I did. But they're not playing the same players. He's not going against wide receiver 1. Yeah. And even, 2 in some of the cases. So that therein lies the issue for me and the challenge for me. When he's going up against the top receiver on the team, he's going to have some problems. We saw him have a few problems today as well. So that's the concern there. The confidence is building. I see it, right? I for certainly see it, but it's just they know the opposing team will know that is a weak link, and they'll exploit it every time.
Go ahead, Glenn.
No, you mentioned his confidence. You mentioned his confidence is getting better, but today it took another hit. Today it took a hit, and then you mentioned he wasn't against wide receiver one, right? And so each week he has to get better because again he is a first round draft pick, number one pick. I mean
first round. First round
draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
First round draft pick. You need to improve from your first season to the second season, and his new coaching staff, and he has to realize, and a lot of players on this team have to realize they didn't draft you.
Right.
They have no obligation to you, and so you're playing for a job. They can cut fish and cut bait and be okay with letting a first round draft pick go if it doesn't work with this team. And I think Forbes has to get better and be more consistent with this team, and not be compared to anybody else. But and that's on coaching staff. They got to make this young man consistent and fit into their program.
Yep. Yeah. It's concerning. From my vantage point, it's concerning either way, right? Because I'm already like, well, who's going to cover wide receiver one? When you look at none of the games are easy. We always say, winning an NFL game is very difficult. And in these high-powered offenses, okay, well, who's going to cover wide receiver one that we can trust? I mean, you're not going to win them all.
Yeah.
But you can't, I know the other day, you even hit comment on one of my posts. It was like, well, I heard he just got an interception. And I was just like,
you did, though. You did,
yeah.
You were like, yeah. You were like, yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to tell people? Like, and it's hard because you want to tell the truth. And you want to be fair.
Yeah,
at the same
fair. That's your job. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you got that INT, but if the other team ends up scoring 21 points,
what's about
on your side of the field, then what we doing?
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough, and it's going to be some surprises, or maybe not. Maybe it won't be a surprise, but did he do better today? Absolutely, yes, comparatively speaking. But again, he's not going up against wide receiver 2 and 3. He's not going against the backups in the regular season.
Hey, Candy, I want to go back to another bright spot real quick. Sorry, y'all, if I'm jumping around.
No, you good? Because go ahead. Y'all good.
Ben Sinnott is a fan favorite right now on X. Second coming to Chris Cooley and all. But he just did an interview. I don't know if you were around him. He's basically saying he was nervous, and he's like, I got the jitters out now. Like, we haven't even seen the best of him yet. That's kind of cool to hear a young guy say that. Like, be honest about how he felt. But he looked good though. You wouldn't have known that from the way he played. He played so tough, and he's like, I'm ready to do more because I was just trying to get the jitters out essentially.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, Jaden actually mentioned that as well. He said Jaden actually shared that he gets nervous before every game. He's the butterflies, I made a tweet today. I said, oh, so that's why they drafted Ben Sinnott. Because, hey, I've been wanting to see it. And when I asked Dan Quinn, when I asked coaches about Ben Sinnott, it's not that I'm questioning whether or not he's good or great or anything. I just want to make sure I understand what they see. Because I may not have seen it just yet. And while I say, okay, I'm waiting for these joint practices, I'm waiting for the preseason game. Okay. And I said, oh, so that's why they drafted Ben Sinnott. I get it now. I see it now. It makes a whole lot of sense in this here game. And so if that's where his floor is, right? That's his floor. That's not his ceiling. When he gets closer to the ceiling, he's going to be a bad man. I see it now. Totally get it. And I was just like, oh, all right, let me be quiet on Ben Sinnott because he did all right today. I won't be too, all right. I'm a believer. I can see the vision. I see exactly why he's on this team. I get it.
No, he's definitely one of them.
He's versatile. If you saw today, he played different. He played the fullback. He played the tight end.
He
played different positions. So they can use him. Kingsbury has a new toy that he likes to move around and play with. And he's going to be tough in trouble.
Right.
Dujane said he just isn't consistent. I guess he's speaking of Forbes. He just isn't consistent with the playing technique. You can't get beat by a guy. We have to Google to figure out who the heck he is. Basically, I had to
look that up.
I had to look him up.
Forbes needs to have some fun. That's what Jaden Daniels said in his presser. We went out there and had fun. I think Forbes got to find that the fun back in. Like you said, the love of it, Candy, but also you got to have fun out there too playing football.
Yeah, you got to really love it. Got to be fun. It's like, and you don't want to confuse it where people are, may look at, because I'm seeing a little bit of this too, where it may be questioned whether or not Jaden or other players are taking it seriously. Well, yeah, they are taking it seriously. Not just because you see them smiling and laughing and feeling good about it. They feel good about it. They want to be out there. And you don't have to force them to be out there. You don't have to force them to learn and get better and find areas to improve. They really, really, really want to be out there, and they're really having a good time.
Hey, DJ said, I think the Cooley comparison is a little much. Cooley was all right. Fans give him too much credit for being average. Hey, I said what I said.
Liddell Eccles, I told you, Ole.
Nah, he's definitely waiting. No, Cooley's one of them. I'm sorry, DJ. He's one of them, bro. And
he's a fan favorite, like I said.
Nah, he's one of them.
You
can't be a Pro Bowler. You can't be a Pro Bowler and be a regular player. He's a Pro Bowler, bro. He ain't average.
Cooley was tough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was tough. Hey, anybody getting any more questions for Candy? Candy got to take a drive back. We can't have her all here now.
Just real quick, Candy. What, if anything, did the coach say about the special teams? Because that was pretty uneven today.
I was going to ask him about that. I actually mentioned that to him after the press conference. Like, Coach, I got a list of 10 or 12 questions for you, buddy. But I was going to wait until after you watch the tape. I said, because I think my questions are going to be like, well, I need to watch the tape first. I mean, you probably could have given some gut reactions, but I want to know his honest, of course, as much as honest as he can be with us in the press conference after he watched the film, because I totally agree. It was definitely uneven. That one play where ultimately, hey, we all laughed and joked, and we was like, yeah, trust Way. But look, it was like 6 or 7 of them over there, and all of them, and then nobody made
that. Horrible.
Okay, no one. Right? So there's definitely some, like you said, unevenness there for certain.
All right, so before I let just one question from one of our viewers, Paul said, between Driscoll and Mariota.
Here we go.
Who do you feel like is better?
It'll be Marcus anyway, right? Because that's why they decided, before the game, didn't matter what happened.
One series.
Jaden was playing one series. Marcus was playing one series.
Got you. So they know they want to say. Oh, okay. Thanks for being on. Before I let you go, man, how can folks catch you on social? How can they check stuff out for Bowie TV? The floor is yours.
Yep. Oh, thanks you guys for having me on again. I'm glad I was able to hop on with you all just for a bit. You can subscribe on YouTube to Bowie_TV, and definitely follow me on X at CWallSE. You can also follow at Bowie TV Sports on X and on Instagram.
How the Commander fans travel up there, Candy? It was more of them than that FedEx, man. I was like, wow, maybe you gotta have a good stadium. It was a lot of Commander
I think they wanted to see Jaden. I think they wanted to see, even though it was just one series, they wanted to see Jaden take that first snap.
That's crazy.
First NFL game.
Be safe, homie.
All right,
be
see
safe.
y'all.
Bye, Candy.
Bye.
Oh, man. That's awesome, man. Awesome work. Great, Candy. Great.
As always.
Always.
Hey, real quick, man. Ray, you just switched helmets up, man. I thought for a minute there, listening earlier, we're gonna start calling this the purple and black everything. All purple. You guys. I was part of that too. I was part of that too.
Hey, this the silver one.
We always reference them. I don't know why we can't stop referencing them. So, because I hate they have a better organization than
Shoot, I should be the beat reporter for the purple and gold. I need to I need to apply for that job, Glenn. About to pull a
I joke about that, but we joke about it, and people who don't live in the DMV don't understand. It's not that far of a drive, but the culture is completely different.
It's totally different,
and it's just not the athletic team, but it's the city in general, right?
Yes.
It's the city in general, the people in general, and from that city to DC, it's totally different. But it's just the culture. It is the culture. It's like when you say the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's the culture, and it just makes makes them want every game makes a difference, right? Yeah. You see Ravens, they could be out of the playoffs, it'd be 2-14, whatever. Every game makes a difference. And that's what Commanders are trying to live to.
And Kenny mentioned it briefly, and you mentioned it, Glenn, and I want to go back to this because I just thought as I was driving around today getting ready for this game, George Allen came in here with an organization in the early 70s that was flat on its back, had been bad for almost 30 years. And even though his players drove him nuts, he's like, he wanted to win every preseason game. That's why when they had 6 of them to get ready for the season. And the starters would play a lot, and he would try to win every preseason game because he was trying to establish something. And I'm seeing the same thing here. Dan Quinn and all these people have come in with an organization that has been flat on its back for nearly 3 decades. And trying to win these games is important to set that tone and change that culture and get the kind of winning culture that Pittsburgh and the Ravens and now the 49ers have that we used to have, during Joe Gibbs' era and really during both George Allen and Joe Gibbs. So that was, I think, one of the most pleasing aspects for me about this game today is the way that they approached it and took it seriously. And it does mean something, Glenn. They do. Even these preseason ones do.
No, I agree. I think there's something that they're trying to build culture. That's what real culture. That's what's going on, and hopefully it happens. I do want to say something. Well, something Glenn said before we had Candy on about Jamin Davis. I don't think that. I mean, obviously, you don't want if he's entrenched, he's not playing that long, but he is learning a new position. So I think you do just like you try to treat anybody who's learning a new position. You want them out there long so they can pretty much get all of it, because you're not going to learn all of that in camp, and just in training camp. You're going to have to go against somebody else. In drill talk, he went against a first rounder and did well. He went against Penn State and did well. The kid from Penn State, the one that we wanted, and did well. So it's for me, I don't think that it's a bad look for him to play that long. I get your point, though. It makes, honestly, off the eye test, that's why I raised the same thing about Jahan Dotson. Why is Jahan playing in the second half? Playing most of the most of the first half in the first preseason game. So, and Ray had a great point. Same thing with James. I think Ray was he's learning this offense, so he has to play a little longer, which makes sense, right? I made sense when Ray explained it to me. But the same thing goes for Jamin. Jamin's learning a whole new position. So you do want him out there to go against a first rounder. That's not bad, because the guys they have the guys he has to practice against ain't good. I'm sorry. So this is good. This is a good test. Fashanu ain't no joke. This is the guy that is going to start opening day for the Jets. So I'm yeah, this is good work for Jamin. This is something he needs. He needs reps. He needs more reps because pass rushing is a feel. It's a vibe. He needs that. So I don't think he's in trouble, because if he was in he played too well to be in trouble, to be honest with you. I think if he played poorly, then we have that discussion for real. You know what I'm saying? So Ray, that's why Jahan. I see it. That's why Jahan got extended minutes. I see your little chat, Ray. All right.
I was basically validating what you were saying.
I know, bro.
It's good work. I think that's good coaching, Coach Glenn. What you think? Come on, man. This is what preseason is for. Get the work in.
Yeah, you want to see what your players know, especially those guys in new positions and guys that you have questions about. Those are guys that you want to get a rep, especially those guys that Jonathan Allen didn't play today. You know what you're going to get out of Jonathan Allen, right? You know what he's going to give you. So you got your veterans there, but then you got some guys, because let's be honest, we mentioned on the last podcast, you guys go check it out. When we talk about Jahan, this third season for him is very pivotal for him. It is. He had a good first season. Second season was a little shabby, but you can blame that on coaching. You can blame that on the quarterback carousel. This year has to be the year Jahan take that next step, right? Because everybody was saying it, I included, was you know what, Jahan, we talked about it. Ray, you said at the beginning of last year too, right? Jahan could be that guy who pushed Terry, and we were talking more about Jahan than we were Terry. And then he had that season last year for all the reasons that we talk about. Ron Rivera, quarterback, O-line, all that. It just didn't work out. The Philly game. And again, talk about confidence. I think Jahan may not say his confidence was shot too. I think after the Philly game that he was a little struck with confidence. Because think about it, kid, that you never had backlash like that at Penn State. You didn't really have backlash like that in high school. Now you have all Commanders fans calling you that you suck and they shouldn't have picked you. it does take a mental toll on you. And he wasn't just the only one with Emmanuel Forbes as well. So I think Jahan mentally has grown up, and I think he's gotten better. I think everybody embraces this coaching staff. Everybody that you hear about, everybody we talk to, they say it's fun at practice. They're having a good time. They're energetic, and that's what you're looking for. You don't want the fun, the energetic, the atmosphere that's been created. Now just need to translate to the field and produce. Everything's good to the first real game.
I agree. Everything's good till you get to a real game. I agree with that.
Real game.
So I mean, I do want to give you an opportunity to get you some of the stuff that you saw. I know you spoke about gave us an overall thought process, but in terms of like this before we end the show up, in terms of Jaden Daniels, like what was did you get the I see enough? This is the guy, or you still wanted to see him in other situations type of vibe?
No, I think I've seen enough because what I did see for that first series, you saw who he is, right? Mm-hmm. He is a kid who is, and I say kid loosely, he is even before he even touched the field, right? Mm-hmm. You saw who he was when he walked in with the Doug Williams jersey, right? So you saw who he was when he walked in with the Doug Williams jersey. He understands where he's at. He understands the fan base. He understands the people. So who's the biggest name besides Darryl Green? I can't wear that yet, right? Because I'm a quarterback. Who's the best quarterback in this? And when you talk about quarterback in the organization besides Joe Theismann, you talk about Doug Williams, right? The first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl, right? So you pay homage to him. So the young man thought about that even before he walked into the field and got into New York. He said, okay, let me put this on. The fans going to love me. Let me have a preseason workout. When I come here, we talk about the learning curve. He knew when to check plays off, right? Because he checked out of a play that he didn't like, right? They was playing man coverage. He said, let me check. I have the freedom to do so. Hey, he gambled. He betted on himself because it would have went wrong. Everybody be dogging him right now. He betted on himself. And it worked out, right? So again, he got that. And we saw him even with the touchdown run, right? He knew from then when the end crashed down, I need to pull this and go, right? You watch the end crash down, and he was able to go. So that means he's been understanding his playbook. He understands his read. He's reading. He's looking around. So I saw what I needed to see from him. His first pass to Dayami was a deep ball. People talked about he wasn't accurate deep, right? He didn't do well with things deep. So he was accurate to Dayami deep. So for that one series, we saw what Jaden Daniels could be for this team. Does he need work? Yeah, because I hear Ray like Glenn being a homer. Now I do need he needs some work, right? He needs some work, but I think for him to be the face of this franchise today, he did everything right.
Also, real quick too. Also, your thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury? We weren't sure about him, but what you saw, did you feel good about it?
I wasn't sure about him, but I like how he ran the ball a lot today.
And I like how see, I had to get that. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Glenn, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to get you.
I like how you ran the ball today, and not only how you ran the ball, but you saw the running backs being explosive and sure about where they was going. They was running downhill, right? And he was running. Think about in the Scott Turner days and all those. They didn't run the ball downhill. Yeah. Everything was lateral, right? This team right here started to run the ball downhill with a makeshift offensive line.
Yeah.
See, you know what I'm saying? With a makeshift offensive line, I know the Jets were missing some players.
Yeah.
I get it. But this team still ran downhill. And that's what I saw next week against Miami. Hope Miami plays. They start a little bit longer. We may get a true test and see what this offense can do. Miami is a playoff team. Let's be honest, right? Yep. Let's see what this team can do defensively and offensively against the Miami.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, well, folks, man, appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man. This has been a great show. Appreciate Candy for jumping on. Always appreciate the fellas. Glenn, George, Ray, appreciate y'all. But hey, before we end this show, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything and hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Gold Everything Facebook page. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you are a new viewer, make sure you subscribe to this pod. Just hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. I think I see a comment real quick before I'm about to close this show. I'm gonna get Gearsale. I'm gonna show Gearsale some love. Gearsale says needs to go back to his Mississippi roots and add some grits, bacon, and pork chops to his diet. Dog, I thought he got a little bigger, man. Pause. Come on, man. Shoot, don't do that, man. Don't do him like that. He's got a little bigger, man. Pause again. Anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Oh man, I forgot to mention this too, man. We back. We doing this. We pre-gaming, post-gaming. So let y'all know we were the first to ever do it. We back. All right. We back. Anyway, appreciate y'all. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. We out.